Hey everybody, welcome back to the next episode of my Dialing In series for Amplitube 5. The folks at IK Multimedia recently released their Mesa Boogie 2 collection, and I did a video on that when it first came out, just kind of my first reaction and walkthrough of it, and I gotta say I was very impressed with it. So impressed that I figured I would grab one of my favorite amps from the collection and do a little bit of a more in-depth dialing in, and that is the Mesa Boogie California Tweed, which is a Fender Tweed style amp, 6V6 power tubes, and a lot of nice options, and they've faithfully recreated this with all the features of the actual amplifier. I also have a 2 preset pack available for download on my website, along with the free preset I'm going to do today. This is going to be a stripped down version of it, but I'll have the link below in the description, and you guys can go download that from my website, and I hope you enjoy this. The full package is going to require a few other pieces of gear. I use some of the X gear pedals in there, but that's listed on the product page. Just make sure that you do have a full license for all the gear that's necessary for it. For this particular free clean tone, though, all you're going to need is the Mesa Boogie 2 collection, and you should have everything ready to go. So without further ado, let's go take a look and listen and see what this can do. So here I am over in Cubase 11 Pro. I'm using Amplitube 5 within there as a plugin. And here is this beautiful new Boogie California Tweed amp. So what we have on it is gain, treble, mid, bass, presence, master, reverb built in, very nice reverb, and the ability to change the wattage. So the number of power tubes it's going to be pushing, I believe when you get it all the way down to 2 watts, it's just one of the power tubes that's working. So we have from 40 watts, 30 watts, 20 watts, 10 watts down to 2, and we'll explore what those different settings do. Now that's going to be going into one of the new cabs that came along with this new Mesa Boogie 2 collection, and this is the 212 California Tweed, which uses the new American J100 speaker within that. Now you'll notice I have a little mastering section at the end, as I oftentimes do, but let's take a look what I did. Very simple setup here, but I think the tones are quite nice. I ended up with the gain around 5.26, treble around 6.16, mid at 7.42, bass at 7.63, presence at 7.35, and master cranked to 10. Reverb, I gave a fair amount in there. I was liking what it was doing. Obviously, you might want to adjust that depending on your ideals and the situation you're using it in. And I went with the 40 watt setting. I also put that into this, as I mentioned, 212 California Tweed, and I used a Ribbon 121 mic, pulled a few inches back, pretty much dead center onto the cone, and I went with the Condenser 87 at a 45-degree angle, closer to the speaker and still pretty much very close to the center of the cone. I was really liking those there. Now, coming over to my mastering section at the end here, you'll notice something I really like to do is I like to put a Neve EQ81 equalizer on it, and I push the input a little bit and I pull the output back a little bit. I have a slight shelf boost of 1 dB at 100 hertz. At 390 hertz, I'm pulling it back by 1 dB, and then another shelf at 3.3 kilohertz, and I'm pushing that by 1 dB. I have a low cut of 100 and a high cut up around 12 kilohertz or 12,000 hertz. The other thing a lot of folks who follow my videos know, I like to put some sort of a compressor at the end. This time I went with the White 2A, which is a copy of the LA2A studio compressor, and I have it set with a peak reduction at 23.9 and the output at 25 to kind of set the final volume of this preset, and I have it set to compress, and we'll see what that does in a moment. But for now, I'm going to shut all of that off, and we'll see just what the amp sounds like. I'm using my new Vigier GV Wood with P90 pickups in it. That's on the neck pickup. If I go to the bridge pickup, So some nice tones in there. Now, let's just explore what the amp actually can do. And you'll notice here, I'm going to leave my tone stack settings the way they are. I was kind of liking that. Leave my master on 10. We'll remember our setting of 5.26. But so if I crank this up to 10, and I'm just going to come to my output and bring this back a bit so it's not clipping. Back to the neck pickup. Some nice tones there. Now let's go and explore what this multi-watt setting does. So if I go down to 30 watts, we're gonna get a little volume drop. Down to 20 watts. Drop it down to 10 watts. I'll just come into the end here and give it a little more volume. Go back to the neck pickup. Come back and come to the 2 watt setting. And again, I'm going to come back in and give a little more volume here so we can actually hear it. We can tell it's breaking up more as would be expected. Back to the neck pickup. Some pretty interesting tones in there. So some nice stuff there. We see that it's very flexible when using these multi-watt settings. Let's come back up to our 40 watt setting and bring this back to where I had it, which was, I believe, 5.26. And we'll bring the volume here back to 0. So this is where I ended up with the settings on this amp, with that particular speaker and these particular mics, some of my favorites. Now, what I did on my mastering section is this, and I'll just shut these off equally. I'm going to bring in the mastering section and I'll show you what it sounds like without the EQ, which is this. Bring the EQ in. So using the pickup selector, we can get a real wide array of tones. So really nice. So again, without the EQ. Controlled the bottom end a bit, cleaned up maybe a little bit of the mud, probably something that's going to sit a little bit better in the mix now. Now with the compressor on, it's going to sound like this. And you'll notice I have it set just so it gets a couple dB of gain reduction. I find that just gives it its nice finishing touch. So if I turn off that mastering section at the end, back on. Again, off. And that's basically how that tone sounded. I kind of liked it. It worked in a mix. That's the one thing. A lot of folks might hear that tone without that mastering section at the end and go, oh, I like it better like that. And that's perfectly fine, especially if you're sitting just playing in a room. But when I mess with this in a mix, then it kind of comes to life when I put those in. It helps to kind of all just glue it together. Now, having said that, what does this sound like in a mix? What I'm going to use in this next piece of music you're about to hear is the full-blown version using the X Gear pedals. And this is a download that's available from my website. But you'll also get to hear this clean tone mixed into this mix and hear how it sounds. So let's give this a listen. All right, what'd you guys think? I really liked that. It was a fun little piece of music. I created using TuneTrack Superior Drummer 3 and their Easy Bass software. And I wrote that little piece of music and used just the tones from my Cali Tweed Ultimate Preset, which is available at the link in the description below, alongside this preset, which is also available in a separate link, all from my website. So if you guys want to go grab this preset, it's a free download on my website. If you liked what you heard, that's how it sounded in a mix. And I hope you guys enjoyed that. But I really think the folks at IK Multimedia did a real bang-up job with the Mesa Boogie 2 collection, and I'm really thoroughly enjoying it. So I hope you guys are too. So check out those links below for the presets, and I hope you guys really, really, truly enjoy them. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please like the video, share it with anybody who you think would get some enjoyment out of watching it. Also, please subscribe to my channel, hit the little bell notification to get notified when I put new content out, and I'll be back really soon with some more. Thank you guys again so much for tuning in. Ciao for now.